In all honesty, I think I wake up daily thanking God that Kamala Harris did not win. Not just because Trump has proven himself to be an absolute legend, but because Kamala has proven herself to be an absolute retard. You know what I mean? Like, just everything that she does at this point seems to make my brain melt. But specifically now with the Iran attack, the things that she has been saying are so unbelievably incomprehensible to a human thinking brain. It's astounding to think that she has gotten to where she has gotten. And no, you can't underestimate somebody that succeeds in getting there. Of course, they have abilities, but sometimes I wonder if they just kind of like fumbled so badly that they accidentally ended up there, because there's no way that the woman who says things this stupid could also actually have the brain cells to get them that far. You know, it's a conundrum, and it's probably one of the biggest mysteries of the world how so many of the idiotic Democrats end up so far in the parties. But right now, with everything going on in Iran and with Trump proving himself to be just an absolute super genius in how he has navigated this, thank the good Lord she is not in power. And we're going to review some of the idiotic statements that she has been making, and of course, how Ben Shapiro has responded to this, because, you know, there just is no other way to respond to this than to actually call it out for the idiocy that it is. Anyways, welcome to the Pushback. I'm Mira K. We are reporting live on everything that is going on in Iran and Israel and the US. It's a crazy time to be alive. This is the Pushback. We push back against the crazy narratives. And if you are excited about what is going on because it is changing the world as we know it, then welcome. You are one of us. So hit that subscribe button. You won't regret it. And let's see a little bit of how stupid Kamala Harris is. Okay. So, to begin with, Donald Trump is dragging the United States into a war that the Iranian people do not want. Let me be clear, I'm opposed to a regime change in war in Iran, and our troops are being put in harm's way for the sake of Trump's war of choice. Our troops are being put in harm's way. What a terrible, terrible thing. And you can actually read the entire statement here. Statement from Vice President Kamala Harris on Trump administration strikes on Iran, February 28, 2026. Donald Trump is dragging the United States into a war that American people do not want. Which American people, Kamala? The idiots that follow you? Let me be clear. I'm opposed to a regime change war in Iran, and our troops are being put in harm's way for the sake of Trump's war of choice. This is a dangerous and unnecessary gamble with Americans' lives that also jeopardizes stability in the region and our standing in the world. What we are witnessing is not strength. It is recklessness dressed up as resolve. That sounds like AI. I know the threat that Iran poses, and they must never be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. That's good of you, Kamala. But this is not the way to dismantle that threat. During the campaign, Donald Trump promised to end wars rather than start them. It was a lie. Then last year, he said we obliterated Iran's nuclear program. That too was a lie. And let us be all clear-eyed about what comes next. The president has already said this conflict may produce American casualties. Doug and I will be praying for all our brave servicemen and women who we know are undertaking dangerous missions with exceptional skill, discipline, and precision. Our troops deserve a commander-in-chief who approaches decisions on matters of war and peace with the same steadiness and discipline our troops show every day. I'll tell you what they don't. They don't need a laughing hag telling them what to do. I'll tell you that much. That's what they definitely don't need. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe Kamala Harris is the secret. She is the secret to what is going on in the world. Anyways, under the Constitution of the United States, the president must receive authorization from Congress to enter a war. But even if he had, that does not change the fact that this action is unwise, unjustified, and not supported by the American people. There can be no equivocation in our opposition to Donald Trump's war of choice, and Congress must use all available power to prevent him from further committing us to this conflict. Our troops are allies, and the American people deserve nothing less. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. It's Kamala Harris coming up with all the different reasons why she understands what truly the American people want. When I feel like most American people want to just never, ever, ever hear her laughter again. But she's claiming that he's doing this illegally and he promised to end all wars. And the truth is, I believe that Donald Trump would have had no interest in starting this war, except for the fact that the Islamic Republic kind of gave him no choice. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's see what she actually says.
What's the message to Iran?
Don't.
As President Biden said, just don't.
Exactly. One word. Pretty straightforward.
What's the message to Iran?
Don't.
That was her message to Iran. Don't. Guys, are you all afraid? Do you feel like you're Khamenei, who is no longer with us, but you're sitting in a bunker planning to destroy the entire world with your wonderful, stupendous plan, your multi-pronged snakes across the Middle East, and Kamala Harris releases this video saying,
what's the message to Iran?
Don't.
As President Biden said, just don't.
Exactly. One word. Pretty straightforward.
And now Khamenei's like, you know what? You're right. I shouldn't. Kamala Harris really scares me. I should just not. Yeah, because that's wishful thinking. That's not what's going on. That's never going to happen. Guess what? Khamenei, who is literally put into the most impossible situation of all time, still decided to continue with his attacks, to continue to not listen to the negotiations, to not agree to dismantle his nuclear abilities. And so, surprise, surprise, Kamala's strategy didn't really work. But let's see what Ben Shapiro has to say all about this.
It's just so Kamala Harris, coward that she is, she put out a statement. Donald Trump is dragging the United States into a war the American people do not want. Let me be clear. I am opposed to a regime change war in Iran, and our troops are being put in harm's way for the sake of Trump's war by choice. Well, I mean, that's strange because you served under an administration that similarly believed that Iran could never have a nuclear weapon, and under which Iran launched a multi-front proxy war against America's ally Israel. Pretty incredible stuff there from Kamala Harris. She says this is a dangerous and unnecessary gamble with American lives that also jeopardizes stability in the region and our standing in the world. This is where she's totally off the rails. I mean, totally off the rails. You want to say you wouldn't have done it fine. You want to say that this jeopardizes stability in the region? You mean you getting rid of the most destabilizing force in the region and maybe on planet Earth is somehow destabilizing? That's Kamala Harris's idiot take? This dullard with two brain cells to rub together who somehow lucked her way and affirmative actioned her way into a vice presidential slot and then a presidential run? Truly, our standing in the world, right? Our standing in the world has somehow been crippled by going after a terrorist regime that is responsible for the death of thousands of Americans and Western allies. She says it's recklessness dressed up as resolve. I know the threat Iran poses. They must never be allowed to have a nuclear weapon, but this is not the way to dismantle that threat. Apparently, the way to dismantle the Iranian nuclear threat was to kiss their ass under Joe Biden. Apparently, the way to dismantle the Iranian nuclear threat was to alienate America's chief allies in the region in order to pursue a JCPOA2. Pathetic stuff there from Kamala Harris, but I would expect nothing less since she is, in fact, a pathetic politician. Well, it's just...
I mean, true. Is Ben Shapiro saying literally anything that we don't agree with? No, it's pathetic. And this is something that we're seeing across the board. There's this new movement or old movement of like, Trump is starting wars. This is terrible. And they kind of have this thing where basically if something is good for Israel, therefore Americans have to be against it. It's this unbelievable thing where people like Tucker Carlson, who in the past were saying that Iran is terrible, and people who understood the threat against Iran, and who understood Khamenei's issues and who understood what the IRGC stood for. All these people who would have once been like, this is an unbelievable thing that America is doing. Now, because it's good for Israel, like, nah, don't do it. It's bad. By the way, have you heard of any American casualties just yet? Thank God there haven't been any. It's a crazy situation to be in. And the fact that the Islamic Republic are willing to do what they're doing right now, attacking American bases left, right, and center, means they were always going to do this. They were always planning this. This was always something on the cards, which means that this was an existential threat. If people believe it to be true or not, it was coming. And now it's here. And now we have to deal with it. And now we have to eradicate it. And that's exactly what's happening right now at these very moments. And for that, we are very grateful for strong leadership like Bibi Netanyahu, like Donald Trump, and absolutely not like Kamala Harris. Don't ever forget, if Khamenei comes up and shows up at your house and says, hey, I'm here to kill you, all you have to say in response is, don't. Thank you for your attention to this matter.